What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy King053, Mr. Easy Money. Welcome to my channel, King Said So. We're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we are covering Mr. Nhlanhla, the president of Soweto Parliament, who, by the looks and sound of things, is registering a political party or political movement or a community movement on the IEC so that he can be on the ballot paper next year, that Soweto can be a township, an isolated township, and all of that. But you don't have to take it from my words. You know, on this channel, we work on evidence, we work about receipts. So that's what I'm going to provide this whole video. I hope the video is not too long, but you know, when you bring evidence, the court system might just take a little bit of time. So let's hear from Nhlanhla himself, and let's do some beautiful commentary.
Commander's morning, Nhlanhla. This message I'm about to deliver is a timeless message. It's not a message for sissies. It's a message for people who understand that this country needs to be freed from political capture. Not from some political parties, from political capture. We need to rise as the people, as communities, and reclaim the glory and the victory of this country. We need to make sure that we reclaim the power from politicians back into the ordinary people's hands, back into our communities, so that we as a continent, as a country, as communities, as families can move forward. So if you are stuck up in the thinking that, hey, you are from this political party, that political party, you are colored, you are black, you are Indian, you are white, this message is not for you if you're still thinking in your own small bubble. This message is for South Africans that want to move South Africa forward.
Yes, so with that introduction, you can hear that Mr. Nhlanhla is very passionate about what he's saying, but also he's got this thing of insulting people while trying to deliver a message. The way I would have said it is, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nhlanhla, and what I'm about to say will rattle some cages, and I just want you to come with an open mind because it will challenge your belief system. We are about to start a movement in Soweto. Possibly this movement can transfer to the rest of South Africa. But I want you South Africans to come out of your political shells and open your mind. Give me an ear before you make a judgment so that you can understand where I'm going, my perspective. That's how Nhlanhla should come. Don't come in this little mind of yours or whatever. Don't insult people. Be gentle and be aggressive, gentle, and that always work according to what I'm saying. And you can take it from me. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm an author. I've got a book. Let me post a book here. I said Lena, great book, motivational book. If you want the book anywhere in South Africa, it will cost you exactly 250. Just inbox me or just leave your comment that we can arrange that you get the book. But anyway, I'm very happy to see Nhlanhla go in this direction, because I said, even though Nhlanhla is saying he does not want to get into politics, that's what he was saying all the time. I said any change that happens in any country, whether good or bad, has to have a political influence. And Nhlanhla is coming to the realization of that. So it's good to see that he is opening his mind to politics, going into that industry, going into that environment and trying to fight the good way. Because if you don't have power over the legislation that is being passed in parliament, if you don't have seats in the parliament, my guy, just forget, you're not going to get anywhere. So let's just listen to the 10 points that Soweto Parliament, I'm not sure if they're going to register as Soweto Parliament, but I assume that's what they're going to do. They need to get about 1,000 signatures on their petition. I mean, Soweto has got how many millions of people? Why is 1,000 sufficient? But anyway, maybe that's the requirement from the IEC. It's good that they are going for this. Let's not be too negative. Let's just listen to the 10 things that Mr. Nhlanhla and Soweto Parliament will be focusing on.
So the IEC petition that has been circulating around Soweto is collecting 1,000 signatures. 1,000 signatures that we need to hand back to the IEC, and these 1,000 signatures are from the people. in Soweto that are saying that they support the idea of Soweto to be an independent community in the upcoming 2024 elections, because we are tired of being represented by politicians, regardless of which political party it is. It's time that the people of Soweto, the community of Soweto, represents itself in the elections so that we can have the opportunity to represent ourselves in the national parliament, in the National Assembly, where all issues and matters of Soweto will be articulated in that parliament, and therefore all problems and solutions that come from parliament can come directly into our community without being represented by politics or politicians. And the top 10 things that we are going to prioritize and make sure that we don't only talk about, but we put action behind. One of them starts with electricity. We need to have a short-term and a long-term plan for electricity. The short-term plan is that we're going to use the power we have in Parliament to make sure we pass a flat rate so that every household in Soweto can start paying. Don't forget.
Okay, so the first thing that is a very issue in Soweto specifically is this thing of electricity. Obviously, Soweto being the biggest township in Africa, I believe, consume the most electricity, and that's why you hear your illegal connections happening, and as a result, the whole of Soweto is suffering because people are stealing electricity. And Nhlanhla is saying what they will have to focus on is to say there will be a flat rate to pay. That flat rate thing is not realistic, but it is achievable if you pass the bill somewhere in Parliament to say, listen, Soweto is a separate special case. We cannot treat it like Tembisa, Seshego, or Inyanga, or Gqeberha. Let's treat Soweto special because it is a special case in terms of the number and the amount of electricity that is consumed. I think that would be, let's say the freight rate is 200 Rand as he's suggesting. Practically, it's not a doable thing. But if you put it in policies and try to collect, if you count how many households there are, if they all take out 200 Rand each, we're talking about millions and millions of rands that will come out per month, per week from those households. I don't think it's a fair request because you're going to have extremely poor families, and you're going to have extremely rich families, and I don't think the threshold or the equilibrium should be 200 Rand. But anyway, that's something they are focusing on. Let's just hear what Nhlanhla then says about this issue of family houses.
Even discussed in Parliament without the people representing themselves is the issue of family houses. We've got people who have died because of family houses. Siblings have killed each other in townships because of family houses. As soon as Gogo dies, the owner of the family house, we all kill each other for the family house. This one wants to open a spaza. This one opens a successful business out of jealousy. You want to say, yeah, this is my master ace, and then we start politicking around the family house. So, and women will go out and get married. Generally, if you look at it, that's the norm. I'm telling you stats here, not my opinion. Some siblings will go out and get married, and the stats in South Africa tells you that majority of marriages do not last. So that person must come back home at some point. You must leave room for that person to come. And then Lux is the only one that's left because his brother's in prison, his sister's married, and now he's the one living in the family house. He wants to sell it. So what we are going to do as a solution for the family house problem, we are going to make sure that all the banks understand that the community is going to be part of the process of selling any family house, because the community knows better than any institution in South Africa. You can't tell me the city of Johannesburg has more information on any property more than the community. The community knows that where Gogo's grave is. City of Johannesburg doesn't even know where the original owner is laying, which grave site, go Avalon, whichever other grave site. So,
yes, guys. So Soweto Parliament wants to focus on this thing of family housing, people selling their family what you call house, and this one going to jail, this one getting married, so this one is left in the house, therefore this one wants to sell the house. I think that does not necessarily need to be a program that a policy that you need to drive in parliament, because what the thing there are things that cover those who have bought property knows this. There are things that cover that in terms of the laws of buying a property. You need to have, if you are a sibling selling the house in behalf of the household, we need to have a minute of the letter where they made you the representative of the family. That's how you buy a house, even an RDP house. And again, there's a will that might have left the house under your name. There are many things that protect us in terms of buying the house or even selling it, so that we are in the right standing of the law, because otherwise that house, we might even go to court because money is taken out and it was taken out to the wrong person. So we don't want that. For me, that is not a thing that a political party can outright stand and say, listen, we want to focus on this is the main thing. Maybe it is a big thing in Soweto, and I know in South Africa in general that is an issue, but that is not a dying issue that Soweto Parliament needs to cover. I'm very surprised he did not speak about things like unemployment as one of the things that he needs to tackle. Probably he missed it, and also he also said on the things that he will cover. I think number 3 and 4, he said he will cover this thing of hijacked buildings. Every location has got a problem with that. I stay in Kimberley, and we've got a problem of buildings that are, just hijacked, and I would say vandalized, and then left, yeah, irreparable again. He also covers this thing of undocumented people staying in the back rooms, something I agree with. Sometimes we are really housing criminals in our back rooms and we don't know. I don't think it will come to the point where people wants to have a background check, but that would be a good thing if it is a policy and it is law that a person that stays in your back room must leave his ID. You must go to the police so that we do a background check in terms of criminal record and everything. That is good. That is good. I like what Nhlanhla Lux was saying there. Let's just check also in terms of the promises that the Soweto Parliament or they will be making to themselves in terms of drugs and gangsterism.
6 and 7, they're actually related. Drugs and gangsterism in our communities, in our schools. So we are going to make sure that we're not going to tiptoe around the drug issue. You've never heard any politicians speaking about drug dealers. They always speak about the end user, the drug user, who we are going to open rehabs. And I'm not taking a shot at anyone, I'm speaking reality. So we cannot always treat the symptom. Let's treat the cause. Let's go to war if we have to go to war. If it means that we must go to a full-out war to save the future of this community called Soweto and the country called South Africa, let's go to war. That's what it means. People are at war, killing our kids with drugs, enriching themselves so that their kids can go to private schools at the expense of our kids here in the township. Can never be. So that's one of the things we are going to confront head on. We are going to grab the bull by its horns and make sure that there is no room for drug dealing in our communities. There's no room for gangsterism in our schools and in our communities.
When it comes to drugs and gangsterism, that is an area where I would personally believe in Nhlanhla Lux. I would vote for him to do that, to be in charge of that, because I think he is more passionate about that than the other things, and I like his energy when he speaks about this, because it's a topic that he's very passionate about. So I believe he can do it. He can do it, and he can go house to house, and as I'm checking my notes, and try to fight the gangsters. I think that the Lux will excel in that. I think Soweto will be good in allowing Mr. Lux to do that, and allowing him to to spearhead that type of a program, because he's really good with that. And also, when we talk about bringing sports back, he also uh, He also talked about bringing sports back. I agree with the sports. Every community need to have sports fields, sport grounds, and sports programs supported by the Department of Sports, Art and Culture. That is very important for me. That he must that every community should tackle this. And I think the politicians, they are from the community, so politicians know what is the problem, and the politicians should be raising this in their offices and saying, "Listen, let's fix this um, community hall. Let's put it to use. Whether we make it a gym." Whether we make it available for a church activities, whether we make it available for choirs and stuff like that, an art center or whatever it is. I think communities would be best to do that. Okay, so let's check what Nhlanhla Lux said as point, I think point number 10 in terms of uniform.
We can't have uniform being fashion in our schools, because at the end of the day, the environment you create will at some point capture your mindset. You know, the saying goes, the mindset is the environment is the master of any mind. So you will, if you want to be the best soccer player, you best chill with soccer players. If you start chilling with people that fly planes, you will not know how to kick a soccer ball, take a free kick, or take a penalty kick. You must make sure that your environment is conducive for the success you want in terms of your mindset. So when you start making these kids, making our students, allowing them to make school uniform fashionable and biteable scooter. For those who don't know, scooter is when the dresses show you the bum cheeks, and we think that is normal. We are sexualizing being a student. We're going to go back to our roots, where schools, where students can be respected in our communities, and we're going to go back to that spirit of Ubuntu, where every elderly person is your parent. We are not.
Okay, I agree also with this point of the uniform, and I think I will cover this in another video where I speak about the level of the quality of teachers that we have today compared to when we grew up. I think when we were growing up, the great teachers were exiting, and so there was a mixture of good teachers and bad teachers in terms of parenting the children. And even here in Kimberley, I can tell you right now, as a grown man myself, in his 30s, I look at this, some of these school children, and I'm, oh my, what? You ask yourself, how are they even going to sit down in class? And remember, most of these student learner teachers are young men, some in their mid to late 20s, of which means they are born in the 90s somewhere. And that means, you might even question this thing of self control. How are teachers trained? That question. And you see this child and you're like, oh my goodness. Even the boys, not only the girls, the boys, the way they dress, this thing looks like a criminal. It does not look like a child going to school. The way he's presenting himself. When I grew up, they were very strict in terms of uniform. I was mostly in white schools. I have to say, in private schools and semi-private, semi-public schools. So they were very strict in uniform. But in your government schools, you see teachers and principals in schools and districts allowing rubbish and not addressing it. And these children are not dressing properly, and you ask yourself, oh, what type of parents does these children have? And Tantalax is raising another thing of a child is raised by a community, this African parable or this African saying, but I don't think that is practical in today's world. I want to say the world has changed in whether we agree or not agree with it, the world has changed. I'll give you an example. Some of you will not even allow your children to yeah, look, let me say it like this. Where you want to talk, I would want to hit. I'm speaking to children now. And where I want to hit, you would want to talk. You understand? So we express our anger and disciplining our children in different ways. So yes, you might find my child has smoked in the corner and you beat the child and you bring the child to me, where I as a parent would have talked to him and tried to communicate with him first. Another example, I grew up in Mpumalanga, Kwamhlanga, where spinning cars was a big thing. If you couldn't drive and spin a car, even today, till today, it's still a big spot in Mpumalanga. I stole my mother's car and I went to go spin it somewhere. And it was a buggy for your information. And I was spinning it. And when I came back trying to park it, I scratched the wall of the garage where it was parked. And my mother found out and they told my father. Now I feared my father for my life. I knew that, listen, I'm going to get beaten up like nobody's business. My father was working in Germiston in Joburg, and he was traveling in and not in and out. He was going there during the week and coming back on the weekend. So I had the whole week to meditate on the beating that I was going to get when he comes back on Friday. It was usually sometimes Thursday night, Friday night, and I knew I was going to get beaten up. To my surprise, when my father found out that I stole the car, he then sat me down and asked me, do I want to drive? What do I know about driving? And then the next day, which was a Saturday, I remember, he said I must take the rubbish bin and go and dump it at the dumping site. And he drove with me. It was surprising. I was shocked because he would beat me for much lesser things in disciplining me, but in this instant he chose to communicate, and that communicate helped me because then my family knew I could drive. Then my family was not stingy with the car anymore. I started driving a lot after that. So for me, that is what happens in terms of this thing of the community raise the child. The families are so far apart right now in terms of technology, information, education level, and everything that you can't raise my child properly like I can. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Go on the comment section and tell me what do you believe about this thing of parenting, joint parenting, community parenting. And I think the last thing that he covered was the township economy. Township economy is alive in every township. It must be addressed. This thing of my friend shops opening every street corner and then taking the money outside South Africa is a problem. It must be monitored. There must be regulations into it, and we must empower ourselves in terms of South Africans um, running successful shops. And there's no way you're going to compete with my friend shops that are buying in bulk and sharing it amongst 10 to 20 to 15 to 100 shops, and you are alone. There's no way you're going to compete with the price of bread or the price of anything. They can beat you with a 50 cent, 1 rand, and people will go there because they are saving that 1 rand. So township economy, the policy on it must really come to light. So let me just play something of Nhlanhla and then we'll come back to the conclusion.
So the IEC petition that has been circulating around Soweto is collecting 1,000 signatures. 1,000 signatures that we need to hand back to the IEC, and these 1,000 signatures are from the people in Soweto that are saying that they support the idea of Soweto to be an independent community in the upcoming 2024 elections, because we are tired of being represented by politicians, regardless of which political party it is. It's time that the people of Soweto, the community of Soweto, represents itself in the elections so that we can have the opportunity to represent ourselves in the national parliament, in the National Assembly, where all issues and matters of Soweto will be articulated in that parliament, and therefore all problems and solutions that come from parliament can come directly into our community without being represented by politics or politicians.
Politics as a system, politicians as the people that endorse the system, have led us to the problems that we have in this country and continent. So if I join them, I'm joining the problem. How dare I join the problem? My ancestors would go mad. They're all sitting on my shoulders right now. As a leader, made Mahotman uneasy because they had other plans, and another plan that I hated was to convert Operation Tutula into a political party. So all these numbers at some point were going to be converted into politics, and the guys would get into politics using the numbers that we've brought into the institution and the movement. And I addressed that. I said, I am a non-political being because I don't believe in the system of politics. Why? Because I'm a scholar of ancient African history. I know what politics has done to the continent. I can't now join the problem that has abused this continent for many, many years. Politics as a system.
So yes, guys, it is official. Nhlanhla is now into politics. Millions of times this man has said he is not going to get into politics. Am I angry that he's into politics? No. Am I disappointed? No. Am I surprised? No. If you watch all my videos, I told you this is what he's getting into. I predicted maybe he would join one of the political parties, but because of Nhlanhla wants to be in the forefront of everything. He can't be in any political party. He wants to be the leader. He wants to be listened to. So he stays with Soweto Parliament. They're going to try to get votes and then get the petitions of 1,000 signatures. That's nothing. You can get that. You can get that for a pitbull petition. And try to get the seats in parliament. Now, seats in parliament are determined by how many people actually vote. So sometimes it can start from 25,000 as votes can get you one seat. And then in other times, because of the people, the less people vote, then you can get like 40,000, 43 to 45,000 votes can get you one seat. So it depends on how many people are going to register and how many people are going to actually vote. You understand what I'm saying? So now that Nhlanhla is in this position, he must stop pretending like he's not into politics. Everything he's speaking is politics. Everything in life is politics. Whether a family is arguing about bread, that's the family politics. Whether there's the soccer team is struggling to select the captain, that's politics. You know, politics are everywhere in the world, and almost everything that we do has politics in one way, shape, or form. So I'm very happy that Lux is in this thing. You guys tell me on the comment section, do you think Lux will do good? Because remember, if they manage to get 45,000 votes, which is a very realistic thing in Soweto, because of the numbers of Soweto, they will maybe get one vote. Like the Good Party. The Good Party only had Patricia de Lille in Parliament. I think at the previous time they had 2 or 3 seats, but I think the last time they had one in 2019 they had only one. And there are many political parties that just get one seat. Parties like the Black First, Land First could not even secure a seat. You know, so how realistic is this thing of Nhlanhla in Soweto Parliament? How far will they get? What do you think is going to happen? And another thing that I wanted to cover in the intro that I forgot to cover is him saying the white community must organize itself, the black community must organize, the Indian community. No, we don't speak that type of language in politics. That decisive ideology is what brings us South Africans down. And I don't want to hear any political party speaking about let's forget what happened in the past and let's unite today so that we can go forward. Our situation as black people and your situation as white people and your situation as Indian people and history affected us differently. And we find ourselves where we are today because of history. We cannot forget about history. We cannot forget about black businesses. If you open a tender today and we say, let's forget about history, let's do an open bid, put your prices. A white company that has already machineries and everything will always win that tender, and a black company will not. But you try to subsidize and say 50% must go to black owned, and try to work so that you can empower the black people. This thing of saying colors one side, black people one side, I don't like it. It's not going to work. Not in South Africa. Not in South Africa. That's why you're seeing now the DA for the winter. They're trying to win their political parties to say, come, let's sit down and let's take the ANC out together. There is no political party that is an island. There is no political party that is an island. It cannot work in South Africa. Lux must stop speaking like that. Speak about what you call Soweto as the people, black people as the people, because you are representing black people. You are not representing any other people. Speak about that. That's what I want to hear. And you are into politics in Nhlanhla. Welcome to politics. We welcome you. We are going to scrutinize you like we scrutinize all the other political parties, especially in this channel. I'm not going to play with any political party that makes any promises. Anything you say can and will be used against you on social media. So with that being said, I repeat, I'm very happy with this movement with Nhlanhla. There's no way you can change anything in the community unless you are in political power and you are in the decision making table or room to make decisions, policies, regulations, and bills. If you are not passing any bills in your, forget. You can make small changes there in your community, but the political party will always have a power to stop you. Understand? So that's it for me in terms of this. Sorry for making it so long. It's your boy King053. Here we do commentary of trending topics, trending news, anything that has to do with things that affect us on our daily lives. So until next time I see you, it's your boy King. I salute you.